Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host, MT, with me like always is Noah Bailey. So, a few weeks ago, it was widely reported that Netflix was going to buy Warner Brothers. And even at the time, it was like kind of like an unspoken thing, but not really confirmed yet, that Paramount was kind of in the background, like trying to make a better deal. But even at the time, even though it was like maybe a better deal, obviously numbers weren't like actually public. Paramount was maybe doing like a better deal. Warner Brothers was just liking what Netflix was offering a little more, so they were like steadfast on doing that. But then randomly 2 days ago, it was reported that Paramount and the head of, I guess, David Zaslav, had some backdoor meeting, and they came out like with a better deal than Netflix's. So the Netflix had a few days to respond, and now Netflix has just dropped the deal, and Paramount is probably now gonna own Warner Brothers.
Oh,
Yeah.
dear. Okay. I did not see that coming. I'm glad Netflix doesn't own it, to be fair, but
So I have so many thoughts. First of all, just off the dome, just
how
first of
much
all,
money?
Warner Brothers shouldn't be owned by anybody.
I mean, yes. Yes. But also, we live in America. Everyone owns everything.
But I understand that a business, ideally should be making money. If a company isn't able to supply value to their shareholders, that things need to happen. But considering all of the stuff that's been going on at Warner Brothers, and their first thought wasn't, oh, let's restructure the C-suite and see if that fixes anything. No, even when they had their Discovery merger, David Zaslav still stayed on as the main guy. Like, why did you? You had a chance to like actually fix things, and you just kind of didn't do it. Okay, um, so now this, 100-year-old company is just going to be owned by this other 70-year-old company. Like, it's just it's just crazy that Paramount, who actually already went through a pretty sizable merger a year or two ago with Skydance, they're not like the biggest producer, but like they own some properties, so they're already Paramount Skydance now anyway. So now they're just gonna also own Warner Brothers, which you're right. It is probably for the best that Netflix doesn't own Warner Brothers, because Netflix almost exclusively makes terrible movies. It doesn't release in the theaters,
Yes.
even if they aren't in
And
the first
makes
place.
horrible decisions, cancels things abruptly, really for no reason.
Yep. Raises
Like,
prices
yeah.
unnecessarily, just like
Just
just
not great for entertainment
whenever
purposes.
they're in the news, it's almost never a good thing.
Correct.
So, people were already have already been a little miffed over the years, especially since COVID, of the uh, release window in theaters of movies being shorter and shorter. I think Superman was only in theaters for like 35 days before it went to digital. So like
Sheesh.
that was, obviously pre any talks of merger. So people were already like, oh, will they even be released in theaters at all? Will they be simul streamed? That didn't really go great for Warner Brothers when they had complete
No,
control over it
please.
during COVID.
Yeah.
So like just nothing about that seemed like a good idea. Will HBO Max and Netflix merge? Will that cost even more money? Like I don't know. Um, Now I guess we don't have to worry about that, because now Paramount, who also owns a streaming service, but it is no one's idea. It is no one's first choice of streaming service. It's
Yes. I know one person who has Paramount Plus.
Yeah, I have a feeling that I would like to think that Paramount isn't gonna try to say that, oh, their brand is more valuable than HBO. Well, granted, even Warner Brothers kind of up until very recently didn't seem to get the value of HBO, just called it Max for a couple of years for some reason. But anyway, again, just a plethora of terrible decisions on their end. Um, but something that was kind of brought up during a similar situation during the Disney Fox merger back in 2018 is, which I also have, I also think was overall not a good thing for the industry as a whole, mostly because with Disney and now owning Fox, they now own like 37% of the movie making business. So that means literally fewer movies can be produced every year, at least in theaters. At least before Disney and Fox could release competing movies or just release more movies throughout the year. But now that they're all under the same umbrella, you know, that one conglomerate can only release so many movies. So literally fewer movies are being released every year. That very well might happen again with Warner Brothers and Paramount, which is not a good thing for people that like watching
Right.
movies.
I mean, yeah, no, that's not good.
No. Um, Something kind of funny though, the I don't know where Paramount got I don't know where exactly they got all this money from. I guess they've just been doing really well over however long because I guess the Netflix Warner Brothers deal was so far along that part of the offer that Paramount was producing included a $2.8 billion breakup fee given directly to Netflix to stop pursuing this deal.
Wait. So they paid Netflix just to like tap out.
That's what's being reported. Yeah.
They made $2.8 billion to cease. Oh dang!
Yep. On
I'm
top
not
of
gonna lie, that's kind of I see why they dropped out now. Because at first I'm like, how do you outbid Netflix? But then I'm like, oh no, Netflix was just like, I get almost $3 billion if I do nothing.
yeah,
That's a good deal. I take that deal. You take that deal?
I would absolutely take that.
That's a dang good deal.
I saw one breakdown. Netflix's yearly revenue last year was 12 billion. This is
That's
almost
what
a
I'm saying.
quarter of their yearly revenue.
That's what I'm saying. For doing nothing. To just chill. You make, can you imagine that? You make a quarter of your salary. Hey, don't do this, and I'll pay you a quarter of your salary. Sold. Sold. Like, yeah.
On top of again, these numbers aren't official, but this is what's at least being reported at this time. On top of the over $30 per share at Warner Brothers, which is a ridiculous number, which I checked right before this. Warner Brothers stock is currently, I think, at $10.6 per share,
Sheesh.
which you are massively overpaying per share already on top of a $2.8 billion buyout fee. It's just a ludicrous amount of money that I guess Warner Brothers just really, really needed right now.
I guess. I'm like, did you really need it that bad? But I'm like, I mean, they were willing to do it.
Yeah, like I don't know, like it's crazy that like early last year there were a lot of reports of Warner Brothers like actually doing kind of good. Like they released 4 or 5 different movies last year that all opened at over $100 billion. Sinners, Superman, the Minecraft movie, and one other, like all did very well. They have Dune coming out, which is obviously going to do very well. Like they
Mm-hmm.
have like a bunch of other stuff coming out kind of soon that seems like it's. Are they Project Hail Mary? No, that's
I don't think. I think
it's
that's
Fox. Whatever. Regardless, I think they have like several movies coming out kind of soon that look like they're going to be pretty successful. And then all of a sudden, like, no, actually, they've been hemorrhaging money this whole time. So
which is kind of crazy because it kind of shows you like, yeah, nobody's really like, I guess, safe, because
yeah,
like you can be killing it and still be broke
hmm
somehow.
And of course, I'm not going to get too much into this unless you want to, but like, of course, you have a certain group of people who are really happy about this because they assume that because this other company now owns Warner Brothers, that now the Snyderverse is going to be restored. Even though they
Bro,
saw
no,
the same thing after Discovery bought them, which obviously
no,
didn't happen
we're
then
not.
either.
We're not doing the Snyder, bro. Not the Snyder. Let it go, bro. It's over.
Like they have, even though both Paramount and Netflix have both released statements, unless these were fake. I don't think they were. Both released statements that were pretty supportive of what James Gunn is currently doing. Like, I, 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 I don't like. Obviously, we don't have the best track record of predicting the future, especially when it comes to DC stuff. But like, still feels like that's not going to happen.
I mean, why do we? I feel like it's worse that we have to like affirm, hey, by the way, this industry that has no reason coming back isn't coming back. Like,
Yeah,
bruh, it's over. Like,
but like when you're just so narrow-minded about like, oh, this is good because this thing that won't happen might happen, when
yeah,
but you know, the thing that you have to ignore all of the other things that are objectively kind of bad about this deal. Like,
a lot of the other things.
yeah, like apparently, again, this is all just rumor and speculation, but apparently a lot of the money that's coming out of this deal is coming from like some partner in Saudi Arabia, which has potential strings attached to it. Like, I don't know exactly all about that, but that generally doesn't usually lead to like amazing things. Um, and just again, just the fact that fewer movies will be released because of this, like both, one or both of their streaming services, what the deal with that is potentially up in the air. Just it just seems like not the best idea for Paramount of all companies to be owning them, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I
So
guess we'll see.
we'll see if this actually sticks this time. Obviously, some other major company could come swoop them up if they get more than $30 a share in a $3.5 billion buyout fee. I don't know. Whatever. Okay. So moving on to a different giant movie studio that has made some objectively very questionable decisions when it comes to superhero projects.
Oh
Sony
boy.
is, for some reason, once again threatening to reboot their Spider-Man villain universe again.
I thought, why? I thought they dropped it. Like, I.
There's been multiple different reports of them having dropped it. In some interview, they actually cited that the failure of Craven the Hunter like reinvigorated them to want to reboot it with new actors and stuff. Like,
Wait. That's the one. So that we're gonna step over the other complete dumpster fires that were also with Madam Web and Morbius, and then be like, yeah, because Craven, which I would argue is probably the most afterthought one. So I kind of forgot about that one.
it's like actually probably the best movie of the three, but it
Really?
no like of the three, it's the best of the
Yeah.
three.
It's
It's like actually kind of a movie, a very bad movie, but it's kind of a
kind of a
movie.
movie. There is kind of a plot.
There is a lot of behind the shot and a bunch of like establishing shot like voiceover that has to explain a lot of weird stuff. Not nearly as bad as Madam Web, because that movie is just
Oof.
that movie is basically like a completely different movie than what was filmed, but still, it's at least more coherent than that, and at least more interesting than Morbius. So I guess like there's
I
that.
guess.
But when even like your flagship property in Venom when those movies over the years, which granted COVID may have played a factor in that, when those movies over the years just kept making less money, and like that's like the property that's supposed to like keep you afloat while you make these other things, but even that's not doing great. I don't see how just rebooting it with a different actor is gonna help, unless you're planning to make a different like actual Spider-Man movie, which I don't think they can legally do considering they're still partnering with Disney on those. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah. I think they're missing the problem. They're like, oh yeah, it was the actors. It was like it's like no. The problem is your movie was fundamentally flawed from the jump.
Right.
Like that movie was just not going to succeed. Let's make a movie about a C-list Spider-Man villain without Spider-Man.
Yep. And because we're making this C-list Spider-Man movie without Spider-Man, Sony proper or like Marvel proper can't use that character in their movie that would have logically made sense to use Craven in. Instead, you got to pivot to this multiverse stuff, which worked out. But I think it would have made perfect sense to throw Craven in there. But
Yeah.
nope.
Nope. Nope.
No,
Nope.
we're using him. The movie's going to come out 3 years after. No one's going to care, but we're using him.
Yeah. Oh my god. It's so wild because it's literally just like this makes no like even the Venom thing. Like I
Mhm.
understand, oh like Venom is a cool character on its own, and people are fans of just Venom, kind of like the Joker thing. And Joker obviously was successful, and Venom kind of did make more money than it was expected
Oh
to.
yeah,
But
this
it's also
100 million
like
was 500 million more than I thought it would.
literally, but I'm just kind of like it's also just like, yeah, but that's not a movie formula. You can't just be like, okay, let's do this again. What other Spider-Man characters can we go? And then like the fact that they went like with the most random ones that people like, I
Yeah,
still think Morbius is the most ridiculous pick ever because no one has like I haven't seen Morbius in a Spider-Man related thing since like the original like the 90s animated series. Like I can't even think of another version of Morbius, to be honest. And
he
that version already is not that great.
weirdly there were actually two different games that had Midnight Suns esque DLC that involved Morbius. The Ultimate Alliance 3 on the Switch in 2019. Yeah, that got a DLC that involved Morbius, Blade, and a couple other guys, Ghost Rider, maybe a couple other people. And then the actual Midnight Suns game that came out 22 or 3, um, that had like a whole like Spider-Man expansion thing that involved Morbius and Blade and stuff
Well,
as
yeah,
well.
but in
So
both cases, that's not even like base game stuff. So it's
no,
like
it's also very Blade focused both times, which is also very fun to
right. That's what I'm
me.
saying, which does make sense because obviously, Warriors of the Vampire, but like this isn't like a Blade movie. Blade's not in it. Spider-Man's not in it. It's just about Morbius,
Yeah.
who I don't think people would even know was a Spider-Man villain unless they had to like say, "Hey, this is a Spider-Man movie without Spider-Man," basically. So like people would have just thought this was a bad like Twilight movie, like
Hmm.
because people they do just I think they were trying to just make it like every other vampire movie, but it didn't work because it was bad.
And
And
like,
then
did they think casting Jared Leto would get people talking and and any publicity is good publicity, and that would like draw people in just to
I
see Jared Leto as a weird
mean,
vampire? It didn't
I
work.
mean, by the way that they like re-released it for the memes that were just again negative memes trashing your movie off the joke that nobody saw it. So you can't confirm or deny whether or not a certain line was said because
Uh-huh.
statistically you didn't go see it. So I don't think that's like I don't know. Maybe that is what they were going for, but I'm like I feel like you don't. I feel like you think people are laughing with you, then they're really laughing at you
I
because
mean, this
that's
is the
just
movie.
sad.
where you can say with a straight face, with 100% sincerity, that this movie climaxed with Morbius, the Vampire Man, shooting a Kamehameha wave of bats at the enemy, killing him with 100% sincerity, and that actually happened, but they can't.
Yeah.
They can't confirm
And the thing is, like, yeah, that's how dumb this movie. Like, it's so like, it's one of those movies that like people are gonna tell stories about how they didn't watch it. Like, it's that bad. Like, I think at one point people were doing the Facebook thing where they marked themselves safe of this movie. Like, it was literally like, I don't know, man. And like when you're like the movie, I mean, and then the Madam Web stuff happened, and like that
didn't even get the Doctor Who fans who liked the villain.
Literally,
I can't think of his name right now, but like the guy that played Doctor 11.
I don't watch that.
Yeah, you can even get them to watch it. They love that guy.
Yeah, no one's watching this movie because it's terrible. Because first of all, Madam Web is like the most like what like character. Like, that's such a pull. Like, Madam Web is one of those like if you know who Madam Web is, I assume you have been in the comic streets for a minute. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
a character whose only relevance in pop culture is the climax of the '90s show. She was using like 2 episodes of the finale of that show.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's throughout the show, kind of. But I mean, that, yes, in the main part, she's at the very end, mainly, yes, too. But it's one of the, like, and it's one of those things that's so crazy because, like, 1, nobody knows who that is.
Nope.
2, nobody cares who that is for the most part. And, like, this, like, what are, like, and again, I understand there was probably a serious restriction on who they could pick, but I'm also like, maybe that was your sign to just not do it.
Hey, at least they have some Spider-Man adjacent characters in that with 3 different Spider-Women. None of them are Jessica Cruz, but still, like,
so, like,
you got
I don't
Sydney
know,
Sweeney
man.
as a Spider character. She's not actually that character most of the time because.
Nope.
Have you seen Madam Web?
No.
Okay, yeah. She's only like the Spider Ladies are only in their Spider-Man costumes in the very beginning in like a dream sequence, and at the very, very end when it doesn't even make sense. So like for literally 40 seconds maybe total.
40 seconds.
Collectively between the 3 of them, 40 seconds.
That is so crazy.
Yep.
And then there's like a Spider-Man person chasing them. I don't know.
A guy who like isn't even that same. Like it's one of those characters in a Marvel movie who's like kind of an amalgamation of 3 different people who has the name of somebody, the powers of someone else, and like the backstory of someone else. And like yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I don't recommend it. I mean, I kind of do.
I was not gonna watch it.
So bad is good movies to an extent, but it's still not like.
No.
I know you don't like those kind of movies. So I don't recommend it for you, but like, I don't know. A part of me enjoyed it a little bit, but they had to have known. It is one of those. I do appreciate how like even the actors now constantly joke about how bad that movie.
That's what I'm saying. And it's not like years later. This movie like recently happened, so I think that's why it's way funnier.
Like even while it was still in theaters, they were making jokes about how no one saw. Like, great. Yeah, I don't know why they would take this universe, and the only lesson they learned is, oh, we didn't try hard enough. Like what exactly are you gonna try better or different this time? Like
you failed.
You mega failed. And I don't know of any characters that are like more known or like bigger names that they have that they could make movies with to try. Like no one's gonna watch a Doc Ock movie without Spider-Man. No one's gonna watch a Green Goblin movie without Spider-Man. No one's gonna watch a Shocker. Like Vulture, like,
And those are better villains, by the way. Like
yeah.
I think that's the craziest part. Like nobody's gonna do that, but also those are better options than what they came up with.
Yeah,
Because
like,
more people will watch just a Green Goblin movie than a freaking Morbius movie.
yeah.
At least, especially if you got Willem Dafoe, it could do it again, which I don't know if they could, but you know what I mean.
Like, with some of these characters, I could, if I had enough time and actually like sat down and tried to think of an interesting plot, I'm sure I could do something interesting with. Oh, you still there? Yep.
Hello?
Okay. Hi.
You hear me?
Yeah. Weird. It
Okay.
just flashed and you were gone for a second. But okay. Anyway,
That's wild.
like I can. I'm sure if I sat down long enough, I could think of an interesting story to tell with Vulture or with whoever. But I don't know if it's good enough to make a move like a whole 90+ minute movie about without Spider-Man involved.
No. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know who Sony's trying to convince other than themselves that this is gonna work because I don't know if they're gonna like redo the movies or keep going or whatever, but they're gonna continue to fail like they did. So
Here's just a
good luck.
crackpot theory that has absolutely no backing to it, but just feels like it's the only thing that makes sense to me. So the head of Sony, or at least the head of like the Marvel division of Sony, whatever, they have been like gunning towards a Sinister Six project since 2014, since the after credits scene of Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
And which is one of the single dumbest scenes in any Marvel movie where like, oh, this random guy with a bowler hat is walking down a hallway with like a bunch of like pre-made Spider-Man villain costumes. Like, oh, we have the Doc Ock arms, we have the Vulture wings, we have the Rhino suit. Like, oh, they're coming. Like, shut up. So clearly, this new universe of Sony characters was kind of also building towards some kind of Sinister Six thing. Like, you have Venom, Vulture, uh, Morbius, I guess Madam Web. Although
I guess.
they fought Rhino at the end of Craven for some reason, so he's off the board. Like they they clearly had an idea for some kind of team up of these villain characters in the future, presumably called the Sinister Six. I don't know exactly who they'd be fighting. Would they be fighting Venom? That seems weird, but whatever. I guess Null the like the Black Demon guy, like that, but like he's
Yeah.
specifically a Venom villain. Like why would the Sinister Six team up to fight a character specifically tied to Venom? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Um, so is it just like it didn't work the first time? It hasn't worked the second time. So we really gotta try this third time to make the Sinister Six happen. In fact, let's just start out of the gate with Sinister Six and see if we can just actually make one. And then if that doesn't work, we'll stop. Like, the only way it makes sense to me is if there's one guy who just really wants to do a Sinister Six and can't convince Marvel proper to like let them do it. So he has to like he's like, no, we need. I've been wanting this for over a decade now. Like we need to make a Sinister Six movie. I don't know.
I mean, like I hear that, and I'm like, yeah, that makes the most sense, I guess. But I'm also like, that makes no sense.
Correct. When
It was
even
like,
like when even MCU Marvel movies that are highly anticipated, like Fantastic Four, do okay at the box office. I don't exactly have the highest hopes for the Lizard or Sandman or Hydra Man or whoever you throw out there. You know, the Tinkerer.
Pietro Man, the movie. Oh my god. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Literally.
We'll see. It could just be them talking. It could just be them the fact that Sony is literally forced to make these movies in order to keep the Spider-Man license. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. I guess like he's like, you gotta do what you gotta do to keep the
Mhm.
license. But I'm just like, bro, like, what do you like? This is just like they have to be losing. I mean, I don't know if they're literally losing money, but I'm like, this can't be working.
I mean, Morbius, it made it made almost exactly double its announced mark or production budget. And Madam
Mm.
Web made less than that, and Craven made less than that. So all of those were made for about the same amount. So like, no, they lost money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, this can't be working, bro.
Yeah.
And like, you can blame the actors. I don't think because they had some like, I mean, not that I'm a fan of Jared Leto, but Jared Leto's not like, you know, he's right.
Not
He's
weirdo,
not
but he's not unknown.
unknown, right? Because and then what's the guy who played Craven was
Aaron Taylor
Taylor,
Johnson.
yeah, Taylor Johnson, yeah. So it's like. I mean, I mean, yeah, he's not Leo, but I mean, that's a solid. That's not just like that's not
Yeah.
me. You know what I mean? That's a
Mm-hmm.
good actor. So I don't think blaming the talent. I feel like maybe the talent in the writing room and also maybe the idea room in the first place.
Yeah.
But people love to point fingers at other people when things don't go well for some
Yeah.
reason. Even though
Well, I have a story a little bit later that we'll touch on that quite a bit, but yeah, people, whenever something fails, it's never your fault.
literally,
Yeah. So who knows if it'll actually pan out? Like we've already said, this this universe has already been canceled at least twice since Craven came out. So it could be a thing after Brand New Day. Uh, you know, they realize, oh, maybe we should just have Marvel proper just make it for us. Just let them
hmm.
do it. Okay. All right. Moving over to one little Disney thing. The first official trailer for Toy Story 5 came out. And what are
Did
your initial thoughts?
I thought that this was an AI joke, and then it wasn't. It's like you've seen those like AI things where it's
Oh
like,
yeah. Oh
oh, the next Pixar movie is the toy versus TikTok and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's real. Like they're really doing this. Like I think it makes sense, obviously, with the world we live in, and
mm,
again, like throwing out my initial opinion that Toy Story should have stopped 2 movies ago,
yeah.
I don't hate this idea. This is actually kind of an interesting idea,
I kind of hate
potentially.
to say it, but this trailer kind of won me over.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
That's what I'm saying. Like it was a good trip, and you you feel the emotions, and I'm like, why am I still feeling emotions that I felt for 3 movies in a row now?
like, the it's cheap. I know why they like
It's
it.
so obviously a
It's
cash
so
grab. They're not even hiding it.
like them having like an epic like soft rock cover of "You Got a Friend in Me" playing in the background.
Oh, you
oh
monsters, take my money.
you got me. I know what
Literally.
you're doing. I know what you're doing.
No. And they know. They know. They're being so emotionally scummy, but it worked.
Yeah.
Goodness. Like the way it's playing and the theme with the trailer of just like, oh my gosh. I'm like,
Hmm.
dude, this is I don't know, man. They know what they're doing. Like
Yeah.
Pixar does like these Toy Story movies don't miss, man. Like I don't want to love it, but I kind of feel like I'm gonna have to.
I do think that just the core idea that this movie is built on is a much stronger idea than four. Actually, no, you did you ever see Toy Story 4?
Nope.
Okay, that's fine. Um, the message of the first three I felt was just so good and so iconic, but also I feel like it was a very good trilogy for Andy's story of
Mm-hmm.
like, how Andy and Woody kind of relate to each other. I thought that worked very well for those three movies in a row. And then with four, there wasn't really anything to latch onto. But then this movie, it's not so much, the toys and their relationship to their human. It's more so like the concept of technology and tablets and like how
Right?
we as a society
The
have kind
world,
of been taken over
yeah, it's
by this.
changing.
Yeah, and I, I kind of like
It's
that. I'm
so
very curious
it's
to know what it has to say about that.
yeah, because I mean, and, like by design, this story is how the characters we love adapt to unprecedented change. Because like
Hmm.
they're old toys now, and you realize like in the same way that when Buzz showed up, Woody's like, "What the heck? This toy lights up and does this and that," and now we have freaking tablets and iPads that are just like apparently can speak they speak also I love that it talks back. I think that's so
Yeah.
fun. But it's just
Hmm.
like yeah man, it is it's kind of insane, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, because I do think there's kind of a through line between all the different movies of like kind of showcasing different ways that children play with toys. Like you have the first movie where this heirloom from his dad who he really liked growing up, but then once this new hotness came along, which we're not going to talk about the actual movie it's based on, but he saw Buzz Lightyear in the movie, and
Mhm.
now he bought the toy, and that just took over his life. Like very that's very relatable. And then when with two, it's not about playing with the toy; it's a collector wanting to preserve it and actually
Right.
it like use this toy for a thing that it's not literally not built for that. It's built for play. It's not built to be put on a shelf. Like that's not what Woody. That's not what you should be doing with toys. And then three, like on top of wrestling with the fact of a kid growing up, going off to college, realizing he hasn't played with these toys in a while, and like not knowing if he should put them in storage or like if he ever will play with them again, or if they would be better off with either a different owner or donated somewhere like at a school or whatever. Like I think that's a very good message. Again, Ford just kind of maybe I just don't remember it very well, but like there was kind of a retread of this message of like, oh, neglected toys, which was kind of a thing with one and three a little bit. I felt like it was just a bit of a retread of of themes and stuff we already did before. But now, you know, like the tablet is like they said in the trailer, technology is for everything. Like, yeah, we toys are fun to play with, but other thing that's fun is scrolling infinitely on TikTok videos and playing games and doing whatever on this tablet that is just consuming people's lives. It's I actually I actually kind of dig it.
It's yeah, I hate to say it, but like, yeah, I'm in. Like, I don't know, man. It's just like I already know this movie's gonna do extremely well. It's gonna be a huge summer hit again.
Hmm. I'm at
And
least
now younger kids are gonna be hooked to it. Older kids are, I mean, older kids, grown adults. What am I talking about? We're not
Mhm.
kids anymore. We've been adults for years. People in their 30s are gonna be watching this, taking their kids and be like, "See, this is why you play with toys and not tablets and
Hmm.
phones."
Yeah, I'm definitely like more on board with this movie existing than four because at the end of by the end of watching four, I was like, well, that was not a good ending. Like, if it did actually end with three, obviously I'd be very satisfied.
Hmm.
But like, when four ended, I was like, that was a little weird. So now that five is coming around, I'm like, not only am I does five existing kind of retroactively make four a little better in my eyes, not like amazing, but at least a little better. I think at least there's I'm just generally more on board with the idea of it existing. So I'm not going to be like as jaded towards it breaking 1 billion like we know it will. So, yeah. I think it's coming out June 20.
It's something like that.
A week before Supergirl, which I know I keep I know they have very different target audiences, but
do they?
To an extent. I mean, one is very much so more of a kids movie, but I still think Pixar is kind of inherently kind of a nerdy not IP, what it's called, a nerdy kind of subsect of movies. So there is overlap with especially millennials, and kind of older Gen Z liking Pixar and animated movies and superheroes and that kind of thing. So it is, regardless, it is still direct competition in the movie space. So hopefully, even though a part of me to an extent was kind of hoping that Toy Story 5 wasn't going to be super appealing, because a part of me also wants Supergirl to do as well as it can, since Toy Story actually does look pretty appealing. We'll see how Supergirl stacks up to it. Okay. Time for one of my favorite segments that we haven't done in a while, but boy, do we have some stuff to go over in this segment. It's time for some weird game news. Okay. So everything that I have to cover here happened within the last week.
Okay.
I think, as of recording this, it is Thursday, the 26th. So I'm pretty sure the first story here happened last Thursday.
Okay.
So last Thursday, it was announced that Sony, Sony PlayStation, has shut down Bluepoint Studios. Now, you might be asking, who is Bluepoint Studios? Bluepoint, they kind of got their start making their MO was making remakes and remasters of older PlayStation games for newer systems. Their major claim to fame was the Shadow of the Colossus remake in 2018 for the PS4, and that was, a lot of people consider that in the PS2 or 3 or both, whatever. When that came out, people already considered one of the greatest games of all time, especially on PlayStation. It is just a very, very good game, and this is a direct one-to-one exact, just perfect remake of that game. They also did the God of War 3, I think it was, on PS4 as well. And then when the PS5 came out, they when it launched with Bluepoint's remake of Demon's Souls. So clearly they have always worked very closely and very well with Sony, but they were still independent at that time. They were purchased by Sony in 2021. So, PS5 launches, Demon's Souls is, one of the premier launch games. It does really well. And then Sony decided, oh, you know what? We really like everything you do with it. You've done so far for us. We're actually going to, make this partnership official. We're going to buy you, and we're going to, do great things together. Then the next game that they were tasked to work on was they were tasked to be a support studio for God of War Ragnarok. Which that's fine if you have a major studio in your pocket that's good at, especially since that game was still releasing on the PS4 and 5. Maybe they were just helping either upscale or downscale, whichever way it needed to go. Like, I could see them wanting to kind of have that studio help push that project along. And then after God of War Ragnarok came out and did really well, apparently in 2023, Sony approached them and said, "Okay, guys, your next project will be a God of War live service game." What does that mean? I don't know. You figure it out.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, first of all, live service games? I cringe at the sound.
No.
But how does that even work with God of War? I don't understand.
I don't know, and we'll never know because in 2025 it was announced that game was canceled.
I wonder how that happened.
Yeah, because apparently between like 2022 and 2025, Sony was just throwing everything against the wall when it comes to live service stuff. Like the guy who was in charge at the time, he was just going all in on live service stuff. Horizon Zero Dawn had a live service game in production. There was when Last of Us Part Two was being announced, or Last of Us remake, one of the Last of Us, it was announced to have some kind of live service multiplayer element involved in that, and then it got spun off into its own game. But then that also got canceled. So Naughty Dog just spent multiple years doing nothing. Helldivers was actually good and stayed good. Like you got one good one. Although that team has made games like that before, so that's fine to do. Although at the same time, like if you're gonna task Guerrilla Games, who made the Horizon games, if you're gonna task them to make a live service game, you would think, oh, oh, I just lost it. Oh no, oh, I'm sorry. I go. Hang on. 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 Hang on.
Wait, what?
Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. uh, Killzone. There it is. Sorry. Killzone. They made the shooter game Killzone back in the day. And if you want them to make a live service game for you, I think it would make sense for them to kind of bring that, game back and basically potentially as your answer to Call of Duty, since at that point it was kind of up in the air if you'll even have that since Microsoft was buying them. Like, I think that could have been a good answer for you, but whatever. So apparently Sony saw the fact that Bluepoint used to kind of work on a God of War game one time as a remake of a game that already existed. So because you kind of worked on a God of War game one time and then was a support studio for this other God of War game we threw y'all on, we're gonna have you make a God of War live service game. And then in 2025, all those projects got canceled because outside of Helldivers, none of them worked. Just at their core, none of those were good ideas.
They hit them with the nope.
Yep.
Just nope.
So then, after their game got canceled by Sony, the game they were tasked to make by Sony was canceled by Sony. The head at the time was like, "Hey, we still like you. We're going to work closely with y'all to determine what game we're going to work on next." And then apparently, they just kind of sat there for a year until Sony was like, "Actually, we're just going to shut the whole studio. Bye." We know you were doing great work on your own. We know you were doing, great. We had a great partnership with you. You were doing your own thing, and then we bought you, and then
we
didn't let you do anything. So
that does that feel like maybe they just did that because they're doing too much. We don't want too many good things going around. Like,
why?
No, but I'm not saying for us. I'm saying for them. Like, why encourage competition when you don't have to? It's not like this is America. Just instead, it's
Xbox
like
is imploding, so we can just kind of do whatever, and apparently do whatever includes canceling entire games and shuttering
literally,
studios.
and yet Xbox gets no closer to reclaiming its throne next to PlayStation.
We'll get
But
there in just a minute. I My roommate and I came up with a fantastic analogy for this. This would be like, for example, in 2003, 2004, Pixar is killing it. They are making banger after banger. They're making Finding Nemo. They're making Incredibles. Like, they are making great movies in partnership with Disney. And in
mhm.
2006, they're like, we really like the things that you're doing. We want to keep the partnership going. We're going to buy you. We're going to do great things together. And then they sat on their butt for 4 years until Tangled came out. Like, okay, we're actually going to have you, be a support, help the production of this movie that we're making. But we're going to help. This is our first big CG movie, I guess would be the logic there. We're going to have you help us make it. Okay, now um, now that you've helped us make this Tangled movie, we're gonna just sit tight. We're gonna tell you how you're gonna help us in the future. And then a few years later, um, even though their main thing is amazing CG Pixar, CG kids movies, they're like, okay, our streaming service is coming out soon, so we really want y'all to make a Nightmare Before Christmas claymation show for us. They're like,
Why?
what?
He's
We
like,
know you're really
why?
good at making movies. You made a movie before, so make this
Yeah, it's
claymation
like,
show
wait,
to
we
make
don't do.
us.
It's like, wait, we don't do that. And even if we did, that's a stupid idea.
Yeah. And then 3 years later, they were like, "Oh yeah, you're right. That was a stupid idea. Cancel the entire project, but no, you put at least some time into." So
And you know what? Also, cancel you guys
yeah, we're
because
gonna. Don't worry,
eh,
we're still gonna do great things with you. Then a year later of nothing. Like actually, yeah, all you were fired. We don't need you anymore.
doing great on their own. And then
What?
you know what? Nah. But I guess I mean, so can they now just like go back to doing what they were doing? I mean, I guess like I don't. How does that work? Can they just like
So,
reconvene and go back to the drawing board, or like?
so the reporting is always a little sketchy when it comes to these kinds of things. Apparently, some of the Bluepoint staff was absorbed by other Sony studios. Some of them were probably just let go entirely. A lot of the people that worked at Bluepoint were originally over at Retro Studios, who made the Metroid Prime games, the Donkey Kong games, and all that for Nintendo.
Hmm.
Who actually Retro also is kind of in a similar boat where they also work really well as a support studio for a lot of Nintendo stuff. They work on Mario Kart. They work on a lot of this like at least not Co. They are support studio on some of the sports games as well. Like they're a good like little resource they can pull from if they need extra help. So there's a chance that some of the Bluepoint staff can just go back over there, or they can spin off their own studio to try being independent again and see if that will actually work. So it just yeah, it's just so annoying that like this happens almost every time when seemingly whenever a big company buys another studio or company like this, we're like, you're doing great on your own, and then we buy you up just to do nothing with you if we don't let you do anything, and then oh actually you're just disappointment, sorry. I mean, just like with Microsoft a few years ago, kind of the opposite. Oh, Tango, yeah, Tango GameWorks, y'all made Hi-Fi Rush, a game that everybody liked, got great reviews, got like Game of the Year nominated. Sorry, sorry, you're closed. That's enough out of you. So you make a bad game, cancel. Make a good game, cancel. Make no games, cancel. It's like there's literally no winning. So After this happened, this was on last Thursday. Kind of like in the aftermath of this, people were kind of making the joke of like, okay, so now all Microsoft has to do, at least for the short term, is just to kind of sit back and not do anything, let this, objectively horrible PR for Sony kind of wash over, just kind of exist for a while, and maybe they can kind of scoop up some goodwill and hopefully press on into the new year. Well, the very next day, the very next day, it was announced that Microsoft's entire corporate structure was going over a massive shakeup. So the main players here are Phil Spencer, who was the CEO of Xbox, Sarah Bond, who was the president of Xbox, and Matt Booty, who was a very funny name, was the head of content creation, whatever that means. I think that just kind of means he speaks at presentations sometimes, and like, I guess, make sure that games are being made, which I feel, whatever. So on Friday, it was announced that Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond were retiring, and their last working day would be Monday. So just out of the blue, the two heads of the company are retiring immediately with only like one working day left, and they're out. And then Matt Booty was, the reports are saying he was promoted, but it just seems a little more like a lateral move because he went from, according to the reports I read, he went from uh, head of content creation to chief content operator. Like it just, oh, you're gonna do the same thing, but now you're a part of the C-suite, I guess. It seems like it's the same words, but like it, I almost feel like, I don't know. That just seems a little. It's not like that part of it isn't as important to the story. I just like that his name was Matt Booty, so I wanted to say as many times as possible. Um, it just to me it just kind of feels like a kind of thing where it's like almost like a, oh, we're gonna put you in corporate timeout. It's like we're gonna put you in a position that doesn't really matter. Like you're the last thing on guard. You'll be around if we need you, but you're just, oh,
we'll just
what?
like we'll just give you a little office in the corner. You still get benefits and everything, but just you come to work every day, just stay over here, and we'll every once in a while we'll throw something your way.
You pop your head up like a gopher, be like, is content being made? Yep. Okay, keep at it, and then sit back down.
Doing great. Thanks.
Yep.
See you next month.
I know there's probably more to it, but just chief content operator, a position that is in literally no other company, is very funny to me. Now, the reason why this this kind of like ended up being a really bad PR day for Microsoft is the person that they got to replace both Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer, who again retired with no warning. I want to reiterate that again. They both retired just out of the blue. Both of them, neither of them had any, any, there was no indication that either of them were even close to retiring. They just both left the company. The person that they got to replace them was a lady named Asha Sharma, who was, until last week, Microsoft's AI executive. Now, Microsoft's AI executive has now been named the Xbox CEO. Which Microsoft's current relationship with AI is already, I think, bad.
Not great.
No, Copilot unusable. Like genuinely, like if ever I press the Copilot button by accident, I'm like, oh no, get that off my screen. I don't need to. um, there are certain AI features that like current Microsoft laptops. There are AI features so built, like so baked into the hardware that if you go into the system, like try to turn it off any way you can, within a week they'll turn themselves back on. You can't do anything about it. It's so annoying. The single most egregious, just pointless use of AI I have ever seen is actually on Microsoft Outlook. What do you use my Outlook on a
Every day at work, yes.
Okay, so maybe you've ran into this, maybe it's just me, but in the past, before they decided to shove AI into everything, whatever the heck that means, back in the day, um, if you're writing an email or writing a text or whatever, it would still be able to like predict what you're going to type based on something you type
Yes.
before, based on just, how people type.
Yeah.
And it would like, let's say for example, I'm typing, hope you have it will autocorrect, autofill, have a great day, or have a wonderful day, or have a whatever. Like sometimes, oh,
Yeah.
it gives me what I want. I tab, I move on. It makes my day easier. Recently on Outlook, well, again, Microsoft Outlook, I'll be typing, we hope you have and it'll autofill, we hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I think I have never typed.
Also, it's February.
We've had two major holidays, three if you count New Year's Eve, three major holidays in between Thanksgiving and now. That had completely skipped. Not Christmas, not Valentine's Day. Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving?
How many people were writing emails around Thanksgiving that it was trained on those from November, where it just now is like catching those and being like, you want to wish them happy Thanksgiving.
Somebody wants to wish a happy Thanksgiving. I can sense it. Like,
So I I don't know if it was her, but like she's been the head of their AI division for the past 2 years, and this is the recent development. So I can only assume that it's kind of her fault that that's happening.
man, I mean, they are technically responsible, so yeah. Like, what's going on?
And this is even just like stuff that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. This is not even, talking about AI generated scripts and AI generated art and AI voice acting and just other stuff that is an actual detriment to the gaming community that people are like really scared about. Like
Shut this
there have
down.
been there have been like entire union like strikes regarding AI voice actors like potentially taking jobs. Like yeah, it's a problem. That I am very, very weary of the fact that a AI focused executive is now in charge of one of the big three. And I don't like that.
Mm-mm.
So
And that could definitely be an issue. But I mean, I feel like Xbox is just slowly, like, maybe not slowly, but just kind of already losing it. So I'm like,
mhm.
I feel like they're just at this point, it doesn't. I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter, but
Yeah, and
eh.
here's kind of a timeline that's been established ever since this came out. There were some reports with some anonymous sources within Microsoft that, or I guess the Xbox division, that kind of pointed some very heavy fingers at Sarah Bond, some to Phil Spencer, but mostly to Sarah Bond, who again was the president of Xbox for 5+ years now. Apparently, the whole idea of focusing hard on making Xbox more than just the one console, making it more, oh, actually console and PC. Oh, uh we're actually gonna bring stuff to mobile and bring stuff to PlayStation, and oh, actually everything is an Xbox. Your Xbox is an Xbox. Your computer, your tablet, your PlayStation, like everything is an Xbox. That branding was apparently Sarah Bond's idea, and a lot of people kind of cite that marketing push as a kind of first major domino that led to, you know, um, decreased satisfaction with the brand going forward. Like, in theory, yeah, you would want more options, you want more versatility with your brand. But when your brand for 20 years had been Xbox, the physical box, and then all of a sudden you think, oh, we're going to actually disincentivize people to buy the physical Xbox and instead pay for Xbox games on a computer, it just, or PlayStation even, that just seems ill-advised to me. And, and apparently also uh, the whole idea of putting first-party Xbox games on Game Pass day one, that was also an idea that they're pointing at Sarah Bond, and it very well could be a thing where like it was a joint idea that because she's gone now, they're like, oh, we need a fall person, so like we're gonna give we're gonna point at her.
Yeah.
Because Phil Spencer, he kind of been the face of Xbox. People kind of liked him. Like, he seemed to actually be a gamer. He seemed to just, he's very open to doing interviews. A very chill guy. And we didn't really know Sarah Bond all that well. So because she doesn't have this like, this established persona around her, it can be kind of easy to like throw any negativity towards her. So I can kind of see that, but it's not exact. I don't think it's a great sign. I think it's honestly a little convenient that all these, anonymous interviews are being like, oh, actually, it was all her fault. She's the only
Right.
reason why this company is failing. When just like Warner Brothers and whoever else we've talked about, Sony, whoever else we've talked about up to this point, there are a lot of different factors that can lead to a company, you know, not understanding why their products are failing.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, especially this whole blame thing. It's just like, what are we like? What are we doing? Like, but I don't know. It's kind of the same thing with the whole like, what were them are like Sony with the whole like movie thing. It's like, oh, it was this. It's like, really? Because I feel like it was bigger than that.
Yeah, you think so? Yeah, so I don't know exactly which is worse in the long run, uh, a entire studio being shut down who, was doing good work but then was bought up and now they're doing nothing, or, a public figure of a
Definitely.
company retires and being replaced with somebody who is um, very gun ho about AI stuff. I don't really know which is worse.
Yeah. Oh man. I feel like the AI thing is worse because like that can potentially inspire other companies to follow suit, which is essentially the end of like real imagination, I guess.
Yeah, especially when Microsoft does own so much stuff. Like,
Right.
on top of just everything that Xbox proper owns, they also own Bethesda and Blizzard and Activision. Like those are a lot of games that I don't want AI in.
Anywhere near.
Period. Yeah. Okay. So that's those two, but Nintendo couldn't get away with also having, with couldn't get away with having no controversy. And I say this one for last because I genuinely believe it is probably the dumbest of the third. Like not like worst, but as far as like controversy goes, I'd say this is the dumbest reaction from people. And call me biased, but I genuinely think that. So, as I said, that we're recording this on Thursday, February 26th. It might be uploaded the next day. I'm not exactly sure. But this is a day before the big Pokemon Presents that's happening on the 27th.
Okay.
So at this point, I don't know what's. There's been a lot of rumors. There's been a lot of talks about stuff that might be there, but as far as like what we actually know, you don't know anything yet. But we do know is that last week, Nintendo announced that FireRed and LeafGreen would be released on the Switch eShop for $20. That's it. There's more, but that's just like
That's all we know right now.
Compared to just the like what I believe are like some of the worst decisions that the other two companies have made, period. Shutting down a very high potential studio and replacing your main guy with an AI executive. Compared to that, again, call me biased, but I really don't think charging $20 for old Pokemon games is like that big of a deal.
I mean, no, not really. Especially like, I mean, people are gonna buy it.
Yeah, like should it have been less? I don't know, maybe. Um, People try to compare it to how the 3DS and the Wii U had their when they had Game Boy games on their systems. It was like $8 to $10 depending on the game. It has been a long time. It has like Pokemon will come at a premium. Like I'm not defending the action, but I do to an extent understand why they think they can get away with it. And honestly, they kind of will. Because
They will.
demand for these games specifically has always been really high. Like they're not perfect, honestly. Like they're very good remakes of the original Red and Blue, but they're not, I don't think, perfect. There's a couple of things here and there that others irk me specifically, but they're not. But I am more than willing to play through them again. They're very very good remakes of Red and Blue, and not to mention the fact that the physical cartridge nowadays, if you want to get a real physical cartridge, they go on eBay for over $100 a cartridge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
my brother had all the originals and then sold them, and I was like, that was a poor choice.
could have made a lot
But
of money for that.
not my. I mean, not my games, but I was like, oh man, that would have probably.
Yeah.
I mean, he made a profit, but I'm like, eh.
So if these games being existing on the eShop could potentially drive down the price of physical
I
units, I
don't think they
think
will though.
no, they
I
won't.
don't think no.
Yeah, but
It's not the same.
it's not. And I think that's another. There's two main arguments that I've heard people kind of throw out. The first one I think is the dumbest one. I've heard people try to say that, oh, it's only digital, so you don't really own it. Nintendo could revoke the license at any time when you don't own it anymore. First
I
of
mean, that's
all,
kind of crazy.
that has never happened. And no Nintendo game, as far as like Nintendo proper game, has ever been wiped from anybody's system unless you like got it
Hacked it
literally
or something.
illegally. So yeah, hacked it or
Yeah.
illegally. If you spend all 2135, including tax on this game, you own this game. It's not a physical thing that you can hold, but you own it. Nintendo will not, even though there is technically some line in their end user agreement that they say they can, but they never do. Every company has something like that. Just you like they have to put something in there like that for just weird fringe cases, just in case someone does hack it in or whatever. Like it doesn't mean they will do that. There have been cases of Ubisoft and Sega doing that when like they have a remake of a game come out, they'll actually take away, like when Sonic Generations remake came out, they actually removed people's Sonic Generations, the ability to play people like on Steam. They removed it completely, so that was annoying. And Ubisoft also did that with, I think, uh, there was I know there was a couple of games Ubisoft has done that with, which doesn't really surprise me. So yeah, that argument is, I think, dumb. The second argument, which I agree with more so, but for technical reasons I'll get into a little more, it doesn't like quite work out. So Nintendo has their like, their online subscription service thing where you can play a bunch of different consoles and like a bunch of different games on those consoles. As long as you spend the, I guess, the $50 a year for the expansion pass. And people were expecting, oh, at this Pokemon Presents, they'll announce at least Red and Blue or maybe a bunch of different games coming to that service. Instead of them being quote unquote free on that service, they're being um, made available separately for $20 each. And a lot of people were saying that they should just be on that service. However, I checked, a lot of those same people are the same people who've been saying for years that they would prefer Nintendo just release them piecemeal, so that way you feel like you actually own them instead of having to pay for the service. So now that they're actually doing that, because it's more than you've expected it to be, all of a sudden you're okay with them being on the service. Seems a little weird to me.
Right. But
Yeah. But the reason why they're being so piecemeal instead of being on that service is specifically because if they're streamed on that service, well, two things. One, there's like a rewind feature, so it's like if there's like things you can do to potentially like duplicate items and that kind of thing. So it would be a little like in Pokemon specifically, Nintendo or Game Freak is very cagey about not letting people be able to do that. So I think just at a base level, they don't want you to be able to like to do that kind of thing because that would potentially kind of mess with the Pokemon Home like bank system they have where you can transfer your Pokemon from any game into it. So if they could get it to work, which they can't, if they could get it to work with the streamed version, they wouldn't want you being able to just like send a Pokemon to the home, rewind, get it back, and then go from there.
Right.
But so it's either they allow it to work with Pokemon Home somehow, but still allow the rewind feature, or allow the rewind feature, or well, hang on, sorry. They either allow it to somehow work with Pokemon Home, but somehow disable the rewind feature, which is a thing baked into the service that can't happen, or just not have it, connect to Pokemon Home at all, which would defeat the purpose of Home, since the idea is that you take any Pokemon you can play with, and put it in a place forever. So the best way to do it is sell it piecemeal. Now, is $20 too much? Probably. If it were $10, I don't think people would really be complaining. I have evidence to refute that, but I'll just say for the point of argument that if it were 10, even 15, I don't think people would really be complaining as much.
Is there any enhancements or anything, or is it literally just the same thing ported to Switch?
So, as far as we know right now, this might be, disproved tomorrow. As of right now, all we know is that it's just the original FireRed LeafGreen, like the original Game Boy Advance ROMs put on the system. There is a chance that there will be like the mystery event, like other things that are in the code that you can't actually access unless you do like some kind of event to unlock them. They've in the the Gold, Silver, Crystal, when those came on the 3DS, there was a mystery event that was unlocked after a certain point of play in those games. They might do something similar where after you beat the Elite Four, maybe it's just out of the gate, you can go to those special locations that were locked behind events. Not exactly sure. Um, that would be if there is any like objective advantage to having these. That would be it.
Okay.
Assuming that they are there, which has not been confirmed yet. So a kind of funny thing about this, about them costing $20. So about 2 weeks before this was actually officially announced, so like late January, early February, there was a heavy rumor that Leaf Green Fire Red would be released on the Switch eShop for $30.
Oof.
That was the rumor, that it would be $30. And of course, you have people defending it, but even I was like, ooh, 30 is a little much. Like, I
Right.
have $30, but I wouldn't
Do
necessarily
I want to spend it on a game that's like older than I am?
Yeah. Well, it's like 22. Yeah, it's 22 years old. So,
Sheesh.
not like still pretty old. Old enough to drink, that's for sure, which is
But
crazy to
yeah.
think
Okay.
about. So, there was already the discourse about it being $30 and people defending it, which I like. I think the amount of people defending it was even like was a little crazy at that point. But like another just crackpot crazy theory of mine that I have no evidence for, but it kind of makes sense to me. Like, what if that
Nintendo leaked it.
rumor was a
Yes.
like was a leak from Nintendo?
That's literally what I thought. I like as soon as you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, it's 30. Just kidding, it's only 20. Like, you know what I mean? Just kind of like
the one better than 30.
it does, but it's like the fact that 30 wasn't even in anyone's head until you put it there just makes it so like I don't know. I kind of feel like that's something Nintendo would do. I'm not gonna lie,
I
because
don't think they've ever done that before, but like,
that's what I'm saying.
or did
Like,
they like put the feelers out to see if enough people would be okay with 30? They
right.
would, but like, oh no, we'll put it at 20, which like is better than 30, but I don't know if it's like
It's still like, bro, like $20
yeah,
for a game is this game is kind of crazy.
yeah. However, I do have $20. Like,
Yeah.
it's like not like I don't know. Like, for the record, I bought it using a part of a gift card that I got for Christmas, so like it was basically free for me, but still.
Yeah, but still. It's the principle.
Yeah. So yeah, I just the different ways people reacted to the three different stories, I think is very telling because it felt like there was just the most overall vitriol levied at Nintendo for charging $20 for these games that you could choose not to buy. Not that I don't understand people complaining about that, but I feel like the concept of AI encroaching into your games and a studio being shut down, so literally fewer games are being made, is objectively worse than you having the option of paying $20 for a thing that you can,
Yes.
not buy if you don't want to.
Yeah, correct.
And that's kind of been a theme with Nintendo for a while now, is like I guess it's just because Sony and Microsoft make a lot of boneheaded decisions anytime they do stuff like this. It's like, oh, they're just doing that again. Oh, they're shutting down another studio. Oh, they're doing layoffs. Oh, there's another corporate restructure. Oh, they're this, that, and the other. Like, oh yeah, they're raising their price. That's just what they do. Like, whatever. But when Nintendo does it, it feels like it's a direct slight against the consumer directly.
Mm.
So oh, the Switch being $450, that's just corporate greed. Mario Kart being $80, yes, that is a little ridiculous.
I
But
mean, I mean,
I only paid 50 for it, but like, but still, like it's a because it is the most like consumer like is the most thing that directly affects the consumer, at least in the short term.
mm-hmm.
I think people
Well,
kind
kind
of
of the
view it.
long term too, because it's not going to go down.
Yeah, that's true. But
but,
I don't know.
but no, I continue. You make a good point though.
I feel like I would rather have the option of
Yes,
choosing whether to spend that money or not over not even having the choice of, oh, this cool remake or this cool game that the studio could have made. I don't even get to see what that would have
just
been
not
because
happening now.
yeah.
Yes, no, agreed. No, I do agree that is much bigger a deal, but still, it's like. Yeah, because like this and the whole AI thing, like shaping potentially the gaming industry as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna have an enormous ripple effect.
Yeah. I hope she just doesn't do it at all. But I don't know. It's been a massive trend the last, even couple of months of companies just shoving AI into stuff that we don't need it to be in. So even, like I said, even Microsoft has been going that direction for a while now. So like I said, it's been a weird week for gaming in general. Uh, it, yeah, I don't. It'll definitely be a very interesting year for all three of them. We'll just kind of see how. I'm most curious to see how Microsoft will kind of go from here because like I said, Phil Spencer was a very like forward facing person. Like he was in a lot of the presentations. He was doing a lot of interviews and just very present on Twitter. Like he will she have the same presence that she should she? Will they have some other spokesperson? Um, will they still do their developer direct? Will they present that information in a different way? Like I don't know. Like will Game Pass how will that be affected by this? Like it already went up by $10 last year, so I don't a lot of goodwill with that was out the door. Like I canceled my subscription. Who knows?
Who knows? But ugh,
Yeah.
I feel like it's just gonna get more expensive, just like everything else these days.
Mhm. Okay. I think that's everything I have. Is there anything else you want to bring up or discuss?
Scrubs is back.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if you ever saw that show.
No, I've seen clips
I
and stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, so for the record, Scrubs is like probably my favorite like sitcom show ever.
Mhm.
Like I binged watched the entire show in high school on Netflix on my Nintendo Wii,
Mm.
and literally it is the reason I work at the hospital in
Nice.
real life. So I haven't seen the remake yet. It like just dropped, I think, yesterday. I haven't seen. I'm waiting to watch it with my friends this weekend, but just I am very. I haven't read any reviews or anything about it. I don't know anything about it, but I'm like, I'm just nervous whenever a show from a while back comes back because we get a lot of this, like, oh, yeah, this first episode has everything you remember. And then we just pivot to something that has nothing to do with it. And they just wanted to buy an audience for their own show, which I'm very against. So I really hope they don't do that with my show because they kind of already did it once. Because there's a ninth season of Scrubs
Mhm.
that we kind of don't talk about. So we'll see how that goes. But I'll probably report on that next week.
Okay. What's it on?
It is on Hulu and Disney Plus.
Oh,
So, or I think Hulu with Disney Plus. I'm not sure if that's
yeah,
the
Hulu
same.
was
But
kind of a part of Disney Plus. Now it's a little complicated, but
yeah, I don't get it because I'm like, there's
like,
still two of them, but there
yeah,
shouldn't be. I don't get it.
if
Like,
I canceled my Spotify, which is how I have Hulu. Like, if I canceled Spotify, therefore canceling Hulu, can I still watch Hulu shows on Disney Plus? Because I'm logged into Disney Plus. Does Hulu somehow? Does Disney Plus still somehow detect that I have a Hulu account? I'm not really sure how that works.
Don't know. Because what I ended up doing is I got the Hulu Disney Plus bundle for no ads.
Okay.
And then I kind of I just kept Spotify because I need it. But
Because I don't. Yeah, my Disney doesn't have ads. Is Hulu included, or does that cost more?
I don't. I feel like it costs more, but I also don't know.
Yeah, because I don't need Spotify right now since I have YouTube Premium, which has a music app. So I haven't used Spotify in a while.
Ooh.
So like, if I were to cancel Spotify, which would then also cancel my Hulu subscription, would that?
Did you I mean, I guess maybe if it's the same email, it knows that you have Hulu also and just kind of builds it in. I don't know. I don't know if Disney Plus just has Hulu now or what. But
Yeah, I'm not sure. And like,
I have
there's
no
a
idea.
couple of shows that I actually watched through Hulu on Disney Plus that are coming out recently, so I'm kind of afraid to cancel
Right.
in case like I want to watch those, but if I cancel, then I can't watch those. And it's like, and but at the same time, like $13 a month isn't like too much just to like have just in case. But I mean,
Yeah, but
what I want to
it's
pay.
the right. It's the
I don't
what's the
have to.
principle? I don't
Yeah,
know. We'll see.
yeah, but
But yeah, that was my little thing. Oh, yeah, this could be something, or I could hate it and then never speak of it again. But we'll see.
yeah, a part of me, like, I don't want to, be too down on it, but a part of me wouldn't be surprised if it's more like, oh, the first episode is all about how they're back together, and then they're just kind of
Yes,
like secondary characters in their own show from there on.
that's kind of my thing because that's what they did with that '90s show and all these other shows
Yeah.
that do that. I'm just oh gosh, they're just making cameos. They're not actually
Yep.
in the show, and
Suits
then they move
LA.
on. Yes.
Mm,
Yeah, so I guess we'll see. But
yeah. All right. So yeah,
yeah, that's
next
all right.
week will be very interesting. We'll obviously have if you do get around to watching Scrubs,
Yep.
we'll have the Pokemon presentations to talk
Pokemon,
about. I'm
right?
sure, whatever else. So yeah, look forward to it.
All right.
All right. So with that, we'll see you all next time.
Take care.